Alright, good morning people of YouTube. So this time, we are back with the Nationals video. So I'm going to talk about my experience at Bandai Card Fest Orlando. The good, the bad, everything in between. So if you guys like this kind of content, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's talk about Nats. So I entered the main event with the list that you see on the screen. It is a list that I call Boneless Magna. There is a deck profile on the channel already, so if you want to see my, in-depth thoughts about each card in the list and why I'm playing the cards that I'm playing, make sure you guys check out that video. But this deck has been testing very well at my local scene in the months leading up to this tournament, and I've had a lot of fun playing it. Unfortunately, I did not finish the main event as well as I would have liked, placing just outside of top 128, but that isn't a reflection of this deck. That is just a reflection of my decision-making in games at the events, and I made some risky plays that I probably shouldn't have, in some rounds where it probably cost me, but I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of really cool people, and I'm not super dissatisfied with my tournament placing. Yeah, sure, I would have liked to have done better, but I had a lot of fun playtesting this deck with my friends and showing up to the tournament and taking a couple games off of people, with a list that has some really cool features. So, yeah, the tournament experience is about what you would have expected. There was a lot of Mirage, a lot of Fenrir, Lugamon, Takumi Kazuchi running around. Those were some of the best decks. I would have liked to have played against more 7 Demon Lords and more Purple Hybrid, because then my run probably would have gone smoother. I played like 3 Mirage. I think I played 3 Mirages and 3 Fenrirs. I beat one of each of those. I lost to the other 2 of each, and then my other loss, because I went 4-5, my other loss was against Digi-Sean, who was playing 3 Great Angels, which just so happens to be my worst matchup. There weren't that many 3 Great Angel players in the venue, and I just happened to get paired up against one of the best players in the country that plays that deck. So, that's a little unfortunate, but it was a blast meeting him. We had a lot of fun talking throughout the game. Zenitsu was right next to us, so I got to meet him as well. And it was really cool meeting a lot of people in the community and just talking with a lot of people. So all the people that came up to me and thanked me or said that they watched my content or even just said hi, I really appreciate you all, and you're part of the reason that Digimon tournaments are absolutely worth going to. So I have had a lot of positive things to say about the main event so far, right? Like, the rounds have run really smooth, time was managed really well, overtime wasn't really an issue. Like, it was a 9-round tournament, and they kept moving at a really good pace, so that was nice. Like, we didn't have to wait an absurd amount of time between rounds, and that's always appreciated in a longer event. But yeah, so the main event went great, and finals day was fine. There was a couple people that were like, yeah, we didn't really know what time we were supposed to be at the event until after we had already gone back to our hotels, and I'm like, man, well, that sucks. But the only complaints that I really have as far as this event goes would have been if you were like a spectator, or if you were just anybody that wasn't a competitor in the main event, which was a lot of people because they were demoing the Gundam card game. They had Union Arena side events, they had the One Piece concert, they flew in Hiroshi-san and Maki-san from all the way from Japan. They celebrated Hiroshi's 30th year, in the music industry, and he announced that he's making this really cool cover album with all the One Piece intros that he's always wanted to cover throughout his career, and it was spectacular. Like, you walked in the door, and there was like a 20-foot Gundam just right in front of you, and you're like, holy crap. You could take your picture with Omnimon. Like, there was a lot of reasons to go to this event if you were not a competitor, right? There was a lot to do. They had, hand-drawn panels of, some of the original, manuscripts for Digimon the movie. They had big blown up images of Oda's art for the One Piece manga, which was absolutely insane. And there was just a lot to do. There was a lot of really cool things that were going on throughout the event. Lots of side events. The scavenger hunts were really cool. But if you wanted to do all of these like other events, you basically could not compete in any side events, right? So like for example, on Sunday, right after competing in the main event on Saturday, going to the event hall on Sunday, getting in line for the event for side events for probably about 30 minutes, even though I wasn't that far back in line because the judges just weren't at the table taking stuff. So I guess they were all on break, but that, I mean, which is cool. Like, you take your breaks. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. There wasn't like a lot of communication as far as how the side events would go. And so when my friend Saga Plays, who is the artist for this channel now, tried to enter a side event on Saturday, he was in the event for like 6 or 7 hours, and that was all he did. And it wasn't one of those things that it was like, oh, you got through your rounds quickly. You would play your round, and then there would be like 20 minutes of dead space in between, so you could try and go do other things in that time, but you couldn't get in the line to like view anything else because none of the lines moved faster than 20 minutes, right? So you didn't actually have time to do anything other than just kind of look around at some of the exhibits in between your rounds. Which is why I didn't compete in any side events at this event. I could have on Sunday, but if I did, then I would have been in my 3v3 for 6 hours, and I would have missed the One Piece concert, which I'm not willing to do. Like, One Piece is my other favorite franchise, and so yeah, I was gonna see the One Piece concert. That was something that I was absolutely going to do. My wife came in to do that, and so that was awesome. Like, we enjoyed that together. And it was one of those things that if you were if you were a spectator trying to get this pass to enter this event, right? We showed up on Friday to try to pick up her pass and Saga Plays' pass. So Saga and her were told that they could not get their pass on Friday, but I could since I was a competitor. But they were doing pass distribution starting at like 8 or 9 a.m. on Saturday for spectators, right? So we show up to the event hall early, and it turns out that they were letting competitors into the event space at 9 a.m., and they weren't letting spectators in until 10, which is, in hindsight, kind of a good thing, because there was a mile-long line for the spectators to pick up their event badges. And that isn't, like, hyperbole either. It was in between half a mile to a mile long of a line. Saga said it took him 3.5 hours to get through, which is insane. I mean, you probably should have just let some people pick up their badges on Friday, like, to tell you the truth, or let people start moving through the line to pick up badges earlier. So that was one thing. And so on Saturday, while I was at the main event, my wife went to Galaxy's Edge in Universal Studios to enjoy the Star Wars land, right? And she had a blast. You know, Digimon's not really her passion, it's mine. So we were going there for me, but while she was there, she's like, "Hey, this is something that I want to do." So me and one of my buddies are going to Star Wars land, and I was like, "Cool." So on Sunday, she shows up to the event space, and they had closed the booth for premium Bandai pre-order pickups, which that was supposed to be open on Friday as well. So as a spectator, she shows up Friday and Sunday and is only able to pick up her pre-order stuff because she happened to catch one of the premium Bandai workers. Not an event staff worker, not a Bandai judge, not a tournament organizer. There was like 3 premium Bandai staffers in the entire space, and she happened to find one of them and be able to pick up her pre-order, which is great because now I don't have to wait like 3 to 6 months for them to ship my other memory boost binder thing, which is really cool. I'm glad I bought those and the sleeves, which is really nice. So aside from the lines being like really long, the side events taking like really long, and the spectators not, like, being issued stuff in a timely manner, The event was really great. I had a lot of fun. Um, just know that if you are going to come to one of these events as a spectator, um, just know what you're in for. You're going to have a long line, a lot to wait through, and it was one of those things that was overall a very positive experience. There was a lot of really cool things to do, but in the moment, dealing with some of the stuff from some of the staffing, from some of the judges, from some of the event itself, it was a little frustrating. That being said, like, all of the venue staff for like the Orlando Convention Center were super nice. Like, every time I passed through security, they were doing the bag check. Like, I was on a first name basis with the lady that checked my backpack, like, as I was going into the event, because I kept going out between rounds to hit my my vape. And yeah, so I had to go through security every time, and she was like, "Hey, you got these snacks in your bag. Make sure you're eating your snacks to keep your energy up." And I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And it was just really nice. Like, I had a lot of positive experiences with some of the people that I met at this event. My wife and friend, who are spectators, had a little bit less of a positive experience, but my wife said that it was overall completely worth it for the scavenger hunt, which she thought was a lot of fun, and the One Piece concert, which was just an awesome thing that they did. Like, I would go just to play in a tournament and watch the One Piece concert, even if they took everything else away. Like, but yeah, that's really all I have to say. If you came up and saw me at the event, again, thank you. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope to meet many more of you at future events to come. But yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna say for this video. And we will see you guys in the next one. I'm not trying to sound like negative about this event, because I did have a lot of fun. I didn't even really want to make this video, but it's one of those things that it's like, I feel like the information deserves to be out there, because a lot of people are covering this in either an overly positive light or an overly negative light. And in reality, the event was somewhere in the middle. Like, if you were a competitor, the event ran smooth and fine, until you started trying to mix in, like, side events with being a competitor. That's when it got really messy. And if you were a spectator, you know, aside from waiting in line for 3.5 hours to even get in the event, once you were there, it was great. Like, you could play in the side events all you wanted, because, you know, there were a bunch of them on Saturday, provided you got in time, because the side events actually started as they were letting people or spectators into the event. So it was one of those things that, like, most by the time sagas got to the front of the line to register for a side event, most of them were already full. And like, even the Gundam thing was on like a lottery, so I didn't get in the Gundam thing, even though that was something that I kind of wanted to do. But yeah, just know that if you're going to do this event, you might not get to do everything that you want to do, but everything that you will do is going to be a blast, and it's going to be a very, very positive experience for you. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. These are my unabridged thoughts. Kind of did this super unscripted, and just kind of wanted to talk at the camera and get my thoughts out there. So we will see you all in the next video. Take it easy, everyone.